at my house is just really, really slow today, so I just was having lots of problems. So anyway, here I am getting ready to set up my phone. So I discovered a crazy formula yesterday. So we were out for beers, and the person that my husband was meeting with got there, and they proceeded to have their really boring meeting. And I had a whole beer in me on an empty stomach, and I was like, well, how am I going to amuse myself? And we had just played rummy, so I had my cards there. So after I played a game of solitaire, all the cards were in order. I gathered them up, and I was like, And so I separated them by suit, and I'm just looking at the 4 rows of suits, and I was like, I wonder what all the kings add up to. And so that's how it began. So we're going to start with the aces. What does it mean when you add up the values of each of a particular card number? What's the composite card that you get? And how can that give us insights about what it means to be a queen, what it means to be a jack? And then I can give you a little homework assignment while we're watching, if it's not too distracting. Take all of the values of the cards, which is 52 plus 51 plus 50 down to 1. Another way to do that is, I think it's 53 times 26. And that'll get you there. And then you take the remainder once all the 52s have been taken out. And I did it wrong at first, but I got such a delightful result that I'm going to talk about that. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually having lots of insights about that, which is like matrix kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm kind of bummed I don't have anybody here with me yet, but that's because I wasn't able to go live from the actual thingamajig. So I'm just going to go ahead. I can see that a couple of people have joined me. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to see you again. So when you add up all of the aces, you add 40 plus 27 plus 14 plus 1, which is the value of all the aces in descending order, and it comes to 82. So the first interesting thing is that 82 adds up to 1 in numerology. We're looking at aces, and aces add up to 1. Isn't that fascinating? It's the only one that does that. So then you subtract 52 and you get 30, which is the 4 of diamonds. So how does the 4 of diamonds correlate to being an ace? So when we think of words about the ace, what does it mean? It means selfhood. Hey, if you're there, go ahead and leave a chat. Let me see if it's there. The view count is fluctuating wildly. Anyway, so 1 is about really honing in on the self, really defining the self. But it's also in kind of a transcendent way, it's about the collective. It's about allness. Hey, HRF 1245, hey, please give me a shout out. Hey, how was that? And when you check in, go ahead and tell me your birthday. I'm going to try to stay focused on this because this is just absolutely fascinating. And I know that Gina's going to love this if she hasn't tried it already. So I come up with a phrase with, hi Kinsley, R6D, for each of them. So the ace is about individuality, desire, birthing, curiosity. Birth is, okay, so how does the 4 of diamonds describe that? Birth is, let's see, sorry, birth, desire, self is the foundation. Yeah, like the 4 of diamonds represents a foundation of security, of Thank you for that birthday. You are the 3 of spades. We love you. That's so sweet. And now the view counts down to 4. Like it shot up to like 30, 40, 60, something like that. Now it's down to 6. They must be trolls. So whoever's left, yay! Would rather not answer personal information. Okay, so the 4 of diamonds means that like a really solid foundation is to define the self, to have a sense of self. Hello. It's all about me. Aces will be like, okay, they end up at this place, and it's just kind of where they end up, and it's where they're supposed to end up is, wow, is everything all about me? But everything is me. So there's this beautiful unity kind of message. And remember, the composite, I mean, when you add them all up, you get 82. That adds up to 1. So that's pretty cool. It's like oneness is about oneness. And really being your authentic self is about being connected to everything. So the 3 of spades, go to my website. Oh man, I forgot to call my web guy. I told him we have to launch today because today is the 3 of diamonds. And the date is 7/12, which is my initials, PJK. I was like, we have to launch today. So go to itiskismet.com and look up your birthday, and you can get a report. I don't know if there's a snippet on there. I have to work with him to get little snippets, but it's the card of creativity, achievement. They need to always be producing something. Spades represent work. 3s represent creativity. And we'll get to the 3s. Okay, so let's look at the 2s. 2s are about making a connection. And if I'm talking about a number that's right next to your number, there's going to be a very strong correlation. 2 is about making a connection. So you add up all the 2s and you get to 86. And the composite of that is 5. To pair is to change. To make a true connection is to have kind of an awakening and an option to change course. Everybody, dunk, 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 affects everybody. So I thought that was really cool. So then that reduces down to 34. You subtract 52, you get to 34, which is the 8 of diamonds. There is one other card that when you add them all together, they end up at the 8 of diamonds. And we'll get there. But I thought this was such a cool thing because the 8 of diamonds holds the pinnacle position, which means it's very, very important. And you could say the 8 of diamonds asks, what is the most important thing? Connection. So connection is getting this, or you could say that truly connecting with the self, with another, with the divine, gives you a clarity about your values. Wow, I know what I really want. And sometimes we get like, a negative connection, something that we're like, oh, I really don't want that. I don't feel respected by that person. And it clarifies what we're unwilling to compromise on. So that's kind of another meaning. But I just thought that was beautiful, that it was like, yeah, 2s are about, wow, the most important thing is about connecting. And it's also, if you're going to be connecting with somebody, you have to retain your sovereignty to really have authentic connection. Otherwise, you just have caretaking and enmeshment and dysfunction. So let's move on to the 3s. Isn't this cool? I absolutely love this. And I have not been consistent making videos, and that's why I don't have my regular crowd shuffling in. Okay, what is it to be a 3? So Jacob Williams, 11182. This is for you. The 3 is, it's a lot of things. It's about multiplicity, variety, expansion, curiosity. It's the desire to expand and increase without necessarily an objective in mind. Oh, good, Jazzy Bella. 1125. Okay, I'll think of that in just a second. No, wait, I should do that. Okay, 1125. 8 of Hearts, I think. I think that's the same birthday as JFK, is that right? Yeah, 8 of Hearts. Okay, we'll get to the 8s. Yeah, right on, okay. Nathan, thank you. Okay, so the 3 is to create. When you add all the 3's together, you come up with the number 90. Nathan is the 10 of clubs, so I'm going to write down all the cards we have in the house. Okay, so 99. 9 is the composite number for the act of creating, which I think kind of speaks to an all-inclusivity or a sense of completion. Oh, Nathan, you said you're the queen of clubs. 11, 8. Okay, we'll just change that. Was the 10 of clubs a mistake, or were you referring to someone else? But I'll put down the queen of clubs. Okay, so oh, the planetary ruler of the 10 of clubs. Okay, we'll leave it in there. Because yeah, you have a planetary ruler, and that will be really relevant, you know, as we go through this. So yeah, to create is like the ultimate. The 9 is like the ultimate or the transcendent or a sense of completion. And I've found that the act nothing gives me a sense of wholeness, which is another word for hello, Tybe Verheyden. Nothing gives me a sense of wholeness, and 9s refer to wholeness. Thank you for the likes. Then creation. The creative act is the most, it makes one feel whole. Okay, so when you reduce that down to the card, you get to number 38, which is the Queen of Diamonds. 90 minus 52 is 38. So the Queen of Diamonds, very complicated, interesting, high vibrational, sensitive. All queens are sensitive. They have a nurturing, receptive energy, but they also know how to be the boss. Creation, 3, is Queen of Diamonds, receptive sovereignty, integrity. Conceptual expansion is enlightened action. That's the Queen of Diamonds. That's what came to me with the whole beer in me. I love that. And the Queen of Diamonds in the pure spread sits, it's Uranus Mars, which is enlightened action. So that's 3. That's to create is enlightened action. I freaking love that. Queen of Diamonds is also the counselor, truth teller, and service oriented. So 3 is also expression. Okay, moving on to the 4. Okay, 4 represents stability, safety, security. When you add all of those up, you come to 84, which reduces to a 3. And I didn't do anything with this. I was waiting for you guys, but security is creative. Maybe security allows us to be creative. My brain works so differently. I'm like, creativity is security. But anyway, moving on. It comes to card number 32, which is the 6 of Diamonds. So dharmic, purposeful work is the 6 of Diamonds. So that is true stability, true security, is doing what you've come here to do. Okay, so security, safety is knowing that you are divine design. That's the 6 of Diamonds too. God made you this way, this is your purpose. So true safety and security is knowing that you are exactly the way you're supposed to be. And to do your dharmic work as a natural output of who you are, that's true security. Isn't this amazing? I freaking love this. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the 5, and then I think I'm going to close it out and schedule something a little further out because I just would love more interaction with this. Okay, 5 means change, reassessment. It's dynamic. Where the 3 is just expansion for the sake of expansion, 5 has more of an objective. There's a seeking energy, but it wants variety. It wants something different. Okay, so so 8. It adds up to 98, which reduces to 8. 8 is power. Change is power. Flexibility is power. Okay, and the jacks have a similar reflection when I get to that. The jack is brilliant. Okay, so it comes to card number 46, which is the Seven of Spades. Change is perfection of faith, adjustment, seeking perfection. I make an adjustment. I'm looking for change, variety, expansion, experience, because I'm looking for a perfect fit in a way. Sometimes experience is just fun for experience. But what if perfection is just more about being and experiencing than achieving some standard? So this puts an interesting, deeper reflection on everything. So anyway, for those of you who have watched, thank you so much for your participation. I've left the live chat open. But anyway, I'm going to schedule again probably for Tuesday, because I've got some groups going on Monday and Wednesday. Tuesday is open. So anyway, have a blessed day. Thank you for your participation.